Hi. How did you get here so fast? How did you get here? I didn't even post this on YouTube or on Discord yet. Maybe I'll put this on. Bad Bunny is so bad. Girls come in and guys come sweet. Hey, hey, hey. Hi from DC. You have notifications. Awesome. You're sharing in DGG. Thank you. I was gonna maybe watch that Hassan New York Times thing. I was considering it. I saw there was some type of video about that. Hey, look, the first thing that comes up. God, dude. The mainstream media, I don't know what to think, dude. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I just don't see like I don't see how I can have a platform. Like you think Google's not gonna ban everybody eventually, or are they? Who really knows? There's a thing in Chicago happening right now that I want to talk about really quick. With the ICE agents doing insane shit. Obviously, college educated and educated would be educated. Wow, a lot of ICE agents in chat with how stupid they are. Holy shit. Corey, welcome back to supporter tier. Community moderation. One second, let me pop out the chat to my other stream really quick. Then I'll be ready. Hey, you're gonna be a rock star. Corey, thank you. Got sober. Hi. The Hatch Act. Who is the Hatch Act? Um. Oh God, a lot of crazy stuff happening. So in Chicago, Trump is invading black neighborhoods. They say they go after gang members, but it's really bad. So they ripped naked kids out of their homes. They zip tied them, put them in the back of a U-Haul at 10 p.m. at night, not telling anybody anything. Imagine having your child ripped away naked by random federal agents who are throwing flashbangs in your apartment building and using explosives to breach, to enter. And they give no warrant or anything at all. That's crazy. And an ICE agent said, F these kids. Someone had their entire apartment raided, their technology gone, so they were stolen from by ICE, I assume, judging by their story. So this in Chicago is really scary. You can see pictures of the apartment complex and how they left it. Now, one big thing here is the people who live in these buildings. They said this is the most traumatic thing they've ever gone through. So people will say like Chicago is so violent. Chicago's so violent. So we need to get the crime out of Chicago. And we've been saying for a long time now that if you want to do community solutions, if you want to focus on law enforcement locally, that makes sense. Sure, 100%. But using the military and federal agents to do illegal activities is much more dangerous than any criminal could be, than any one robber or whatever it could be. People crossing the border illegally is not nearly as dangerous as the government doing illegal activities to enter your home, essentially. And DHS is arresting people based off of suspicion, not probable cause, just suspicion. Reasonable suspicion to make arrests. So there was a U.S. citizen who was detained twice while working construction. A U.S. citizen detained twice. ICE agents just told them, "We don't believe your ID. We don't believe your papers." The apartment raids of these, I think they found a couple non-citizens, but 90% of the people attacked here were citizens. Mostly black people, 95% black people. So like if you are in proximity of an area where ICE feels there might be immigrants they want to go after, they can now blow up your front door with no repercussion whatsoever, no warrant. They can just detain you as well, to scan you and to scan your face and to scan your documents, rip you away from your family with nothing at all. And this is why it's a threat to all of us. So if they're going to bring Black Hawk helicopters like they did here, if they're going to bring flashbangs, and if anybody within a 100-foot radius is going to be detained and put into vans, that's obviously dangerous for everybody. And again, when there's people here saying this is the first time a gun was ever pointed at their face, this is the first time they've ever felt like they were going to be killed by someone breaking into their homes. And the Republicans will have you believe Chicago, even the bad parts, are violent like a war zone, like Chirac or whatever. But the truth is, there's violence. We just have a very low tolerance for it in America. But it's really not something that every single person is living under danger, under threat all of the time. So this ICE raid, this DHS raid, is the most violent thing these people have ever gone through. These black Americans.
And then asked questions later.
They just treated us like we were nothing.
Pratishu Fisher says she came out to the hallway of her apartment complex on the corner of 75th and South Shore Drive in her nightgown around 10 Monday night, only to find ICE agents yelling police.
It was scary because I've never had a gun put in my face. They asked my name and my date of birth and asked me did I have any warrants, and I told them no, I didn't.
She's
in the south side of Chicago. Her main fear, her top fear her entire life now, comes from the American government pointing a gun in her face.
says she was then handcuffed and released around 3 a.m. Fisher says
So
she
at
was
10 p.m., bro, 10 p.m., you hear helicopters, Black Hawk helicopters, you see army gear, you see military gear, sorry, you see armored trucks pull up, you hear flashbangs, doors get blown off, they have saws to cut through fences and walls, and you're detained for 5 hours. Those kids, those naked children, were detained for 5 hours in that U-Haul van from 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. If you don't see anything wrong with this, you don't believe in American values, you don't believe in Christian values, you don't believe in any values. If you don't see why this is wrong.
told if anyone had any kind of warrant out for them, even if it was unrelated to immigration,
No warrant.
they would not be released. Citizenat video shows the chaotic scene overnight. Neighbors tell us there were dozens of ICE agents. Neighbors like Ebony Watson says they ducked for cover as they heard several flashbangs go off.
They was terrified. The kids was crying. People was screaming. They looked very distraught. I was out there crying when I seen the little girl come around the corner. Because they was bringing the kids out too. Had them zip tied to each other. That's all I kept asking. Where's the morality? Where's the human? One of them literally laughed. He was standing right here. He said, them kids.
Watson says budget trucks and military-style vans were used to separate parents from their children. Other neighbors say they saw agents destroying property to get in the building.
And they had a big 15-inch chainsaw with a round blade on it, cutting this fence down. We're under siege. We're being invaded by our own military.
Now, what is more dangerous to these people? Random ICE thugs raiding their apartment building, throwing flashbangs, taking their children from them, assaulting them at night. Was the threat of someone who crossed the border illegally higher than the threat of overwhelming government force on American streets? I would say every time, if you believe in freedom, American freedom, that is a terrible trade-off. So they get a full... You have a few people cross over the border, however many million. That's a problem, sure. That's a problem. But your trade-off is these individuals doing crime. Your solution is a full surveillance state, is overwhelming executive force, is federal agents that can do whatever the hell they want with no accountability or repercussion or duty to identify themselves or anything at all, right? No warrants, no legality. They just care about beating people up, essentially. This is not a trade-off. I do not want these thugs with face coverings in my community throwing flashbangs and blowing doors off the hinges when they don't even know who the hell they're going for half the time. When they're wrongfully detaining people left and right, detaining American citizens left and right. You need to understand the trade-off that you're doing there. And Trump supporters, they do this in a black area of Chicago for a reason. Because as they build a surveillance state and do executive overreach, white people watching this think, well, they're going after these violent blacks in the inner city. You know, Chicago, Chirac, it's a war zone there. Trump said D.C. is worse than Afghanistan. 2 people who served in Afghanistan in front of the military leaders the other day. So they'll just make all these justifications for it. And by the time this machine you're building to violate freedoms comes to your door, it'll be too late. But people watch this and think it'll never affect them. But like right now, Trump is blocking the Epstein files. Maybe you ask too many questions about Israel and the Epstein files. Separate issues, by the way. Separate issues. I'm not saying they're together in any way. Okay. You ask about the Epstein files, Israel, Qatar, the money from Qatar. You ask about the deals with the Saudis and Jared Kushner. Maybe you say the Gulf of America, or you say the Gulf of Mexico instead of Gulf of America. You ask too many questions, and eventually they come to your front door. They say, hey, we think you're hiding an immigrant in the attic. All right, in the attic. We think you're hiding an immigrant in the attic, and we're going to knock down your door. Let us in. We have no warrant. You have to trust we're federal agents. And that's not even that's not even talking about the issue where people can just dress up now in a mask with a vest that says ICE on it, which you could buy on eBay, and you have to just trust them. Because you can't stand your ground now and use your Second Amendment to protect your home because maybe it's a federal agent because they don't identify themselves. And I had Trump supporters tell me they will trade their First Amendment, or their first, I guess, included, but they will trade their Second Amendment for these ICE raids. Because, in their words, they did nothing wrong. Why would they ever worry? Eventually you're going to find out. But I would recommend you stand up for American values and American freedoms now before it gets too late, before the government does a full surveillance state, and all that fun stuff. Thank you for watching. Please drop a like, comment, and subscribe.
The FBI did confirm this morning that they did help the U.S. Border Patrol carry out a targeted immigration enforcement operation in this area, and they say they have been supporting these efforts at the direction of the U.S. Attorney General.
Nice. Where is the one clip of the... By the way, Democrats reacting to the sombrero memes are pathetic. They don't understand culture. They don't understand anything. They don't understand anything. It's really pathetic. It's sad, actually. Where's the video at? I had a video of ICE, and it was their hype video they released of it, because they release hype videos all the time. I don't know if I have it there anymore. I thought I shared it, but I guess not. But they released another dubstep rap video.
Funded. Republican and Democrat kiddies cannot agree on what should be funded. Democrat kiddies want you to have health care. Republican kiddies do not. Republican kiddies control the Senate, House, and the White House, so they're using that to cut your health care and give money to billionaires. Democrat kitty tries to negotiate, but Republican kitty keeps running away. He has a vacation to get to. Uh-oh, suddenly the money you pay for your health insurance has tripled. Thanks, Republicans. Republican and Democrat kiddies can...
That video went viral, by the way. That video went viral. Very nice. Someone said finding one clip to fit your narrative. Actually, I'm finding the propaganda clip from DHS. You moron. This is the propaganda clip I was looking for. This is the propaganda clip. Now remember, they assaulted naked children in the making of this video. Zip tied them and put them in the back of a U-Haul for 5 hours from 10 p.m. at night to 3 a.m. at night. 3 a.m. Okay, 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. They used explosives to breach entrances into American citizen homes and detain them as well. They segregated the blacks and the browns into 2 different vans to check who is an illegal or not. American citizens with nothing done wrong, no warrants, no cause for arrest. But it's super cool. It's so epic, dude. These are random apartment buildings that they trash, by the way. And remember when they go and do these things, they're getting drones ready, they're getting camera people ready, they're ready to produce a video. So our taxpayer dollars are going to propaganda videos of these raids because Republicans love the idea of torturing people. Like Alligator Alcatraz is a big thing for them because they love the idea of like, oh yeah, alligators eating immigrant children. Hell yeah, dude. It's so freaking cool. It's so freaking cool, dude. Hell yeah. Life after all criminal aliens are deported. Now, this is propaganda that's really dark. They shared similar propaganda. I'm going to say it. I don't give a shit, bro. In Nazi Germany, when they said we can reclaim our former glory if we get rid of certain subgroups we don't like who are corrupting our society. It's really dumb too. It's really dumb as well. The general idea is there's a group of subhumans in America and they're causing all of our problems. And if we get rid of this subgroup of subhumans, then all of our problems are going to be solved and we can live in a utopia. That's why they say immigrants are causing the housing shortage, which is complete dumbassery. You have to be a jackass to believe some dumb shit like that. Immigrants are taking Obamacare. Immigrants are the reason that immigrants are gay, trans, immigrants, globalists, whatever the buzzwords are, right? They have to blame scapegoats. It's interesting. I want to know who really believes, like, hey, dude, my number one issue is not healthcare. All right, remember, Elon Musk is going to be worth $500 billion. His friends, like the Ellisons, Peter Thiel, they are controlling media corporations, surveillance companies, AI companies to track everything we do. They are scanning through government data to make a database, Chinese surveillance state style, but maybe even deeper, where they track all of our movements. The top 1% of Americans, the top 10 Americans, the wealthiest, own more wealth than the bottom 100 million Americans combined. It's a huge issue with power dynamics in America. Our housing supply is bought up by mega corporations and wealthy landlords whose only goal is making money and not providing a service to us. Our pharmaceutical companies are screwing us over with pricing. We have a for-profit healthcare system that's broken. Social media companies and AI chatbots are convincing kids to kill themselves. And your pathetic dumbass wakes up every day and you're like, my number one issue is the immigrants. Like, imagine being such a bitch, bro. Alright, who's calling? Who's calling? Call in again. Call the phone number. I stream for 1 hour at night, guys. I stream for 1 hour, so you gotta call now. I stream for 1 hour currently until I get, unless if I feel good one night, or if I get 100 patrons. I'm trying to go for, if you are looking to help my channel out on Patreon, please become a patron on Patreon. Or donate through Cash App or PayPal or Venmo. Really appreciate you watching.
Call from
George.
Hello.
Niggers! Niggers! Niggers!
Hell yeah. Alright. That was loud, Jesus.
call from
Hello. Howdy.
Hello.
Howdy, what's up?
Sorry. I'm not. I guess I'm not here to debate. More just scared. I feel like there needs to be a bigger, I guess, media push to protect certain groups. I feel like it's all fragmented because everybody's panicking, and that's exactly where they want us.
Yeah, well, I mean, legacy media believed Trump when he said no Project 2025. He knew nothing about it, which was obvious that he did. There were undercover videos taken of the Project 2025, like architects, like Russell Vogt, that dumbass. And the media ignored it. And now that Trump says, oh, look, we're doing Project 2025, the media won't even cover it because they do have a shiny objects politics, which is a lack of politics. They want money and attention. It's a TMZ model, and the left has no good media source whatsoever in mainstream media, and the independent media is abandoned by the party. So we're in a really awkward position here where we like I don't know if I could get support from Democrats to boost my platform because I'm really critical of leadership. But like if I was a Republican, they would definitely give me support. They let Candace Owens in, they let Nick Fuentes in, they let Tucker Carlson in, they let freaking Charlie Kirk in, they let a whole Ben Shapiro, they let a whole arrangement of different voices in to their apparatus, and it's very powerful. They have the biggest mainstream media channel as well. And their allies own every social media platform, and now they just bought TikTok with big pro-Israel donors, and the Ellisons are buying CBS, and ABC is getting messed up with all these mergers, and I definitely understand your pessimism. It's not an easy path, but I'm not sure where we go from here.
I guess when I say a bigger media push, I don't necessarily mean by traditional media. I feel like a lot of these YouTube channels that are doing their daily videos, back and forth, responding to comments and like reporting on it. Like, yeah, that's important. Don't get me wrong, but for one, I feel like there needs, just especially after a lot of more recent events, there needs to be a larger, more humanizing push for trans people because they are being dehumanized. There's so many, exterminationist shit. Sorry, my grammar is not fucking zooming
You're
together
good.
real well. Like,
Well,
I feel like a lot of these smaller YouTube channels could, get in contact and do some kind of larger humanizing campaign, and that would at least, and I know it seems stupid because it seems like capitulation, but it's more in order to convince a lot of moderates to actually understand them because they're, the scapegoat, the smaller 1% population that are just easy to throw every single problem on. And like a majority of the people haven't read any of the medical science. A lot of the people.
yeah, and medical science does not matter at all in the conversation. People don't give a shit about science. It's all vibes and feeling comfortable. Like last night, I had someone tell me that being non-binary was a social contagion, but they were completely okay with gay people. It's really just a matter of time for some people, and just meeting people. If you meet someone who's gay, it's a lot less scary. And being non-binary or trans or whatever, it's very uncommon. People don't have that experience, and if, especially with conservatives, they need to have that first-hand experience talking to someone to really drop that level of vitriol and hate and defensiveness. But the issue is trans people make up 1% of the population, and for good reason. Trans people want to live in blue states and blue cities to be protected. So conservatives and liberals are even further in those divides, and Democrats don't talk about it. Republicans talk about it all the time in the most demonizing way possible. And I've said often that Kamala Harris is a pathetic politician. She's very weak as a politician. So is Hakeem Jeffries. So is Chuck Schumer. So is Slotkin. I've seen her talk about trans issues. They are pathetic. I could do way better in a public forum than they could. And like AOC could do good on this issue. She does do good. But when the party leadership is so pathetic on this issue and they give no counter narrative, it's really hard when the entire right-wing apparatus is, like you said, exterminist. The way they're talking about it is an ideology where they want to exterminate a certain population, erase them. If there's a group they come for first, it's going to be trans people. So I agree. I don't know what small YouTubers can do. I try to talk about it as much as possible. But if the Democratic Party apparatus is going to be run by all these absolute goofs, it's really challenging for us small channels that have 5 viewers each to really make a push,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. You have connections, I guess. I don't know if you have that many, if I'm being totally real, but like there are, I guess, smaller YouTubers that I feel like a lot of, quote unquote left tube disagrees with each other, and I'm not like, I don't know. There's a lot of infighting and stupid bullshit that just needs to fuck off so that like I feel like YouTubers like Hank Green, like I love that he's doing his projects and he does a good job at actually combating misinformation and shit. But I feel like his voice would be a big one, you know? Like I know not a lot of right-wing people watch him, but he does do good statistics stuff. And I feel like, Hank Green, similar people in that
Okay,
similar
stats
area.
don't matter. Stats and science don't matter. We need cultural conversations. We need a moral conversation about trans people, and we don't have anybody to do that. So, like, if we talk about left media creators, we have the online people. Kyle Kalinske probably does the best job, to be honest, when it comes to just saying, "Hey, trans people are people. Stop disrespecting them, asshole." Like, he just says that shit. He insults people if they are anti-trans. He doesn't get too, into the weeds too much on it. And I think you need a very straight talker for that. But like, Destiny and Hassan conflict all the time over baby bullshit. Vosh, the same way. David Pakman is a charisma black hole. Brian Tyler Cohen. These people are not equipped to have the conversation about trans issues. So, like, I criticized Slotkin. I saw an interview with her about transports. And I'm shocked Democrats in general don't have a response yet for the question about transports. So, like, hey, trans people, we respect trans people. So, like, for sports, I think there should be different standards at a competitive level, but we should foster an environment for social sports for people to have fun together, where we all feel included, a part of the community. Of course, there's going to be differences when someone's transitioning for athletics and blah, blah, blah. You can have a good, concise answer for that, but Democrats run away from it. They run away from it like little pussies every single time. Everything is messed up. Yeah, I don't know. It's really tough. I don't know who the uniter can be in media or as a politician. I think progressives have a way better messaging strategy, and I don't like the Majority Report's messaging. They're very woke coded. I don't know. We don't have any chill liberals. I don't know.
I guess it's like how do I put this? Like you said something along the lines of like a social or a moral type thing. That's what I'm talking about. Because I recently watched, I think it was something where somebody took Bernie Sanders to fucking deep Trump country, and like some of these people who had voted for Trump were actually, talking to Bernie Sanders and agreeing with him and shit. And a lot of right-wingers or supposed right-wingers, they could just be bots in the comments if I'm being totally real, but we're being like, oh wow, something awakening or some shit. And I know that there's a lot of more, I guess, I feel like a lot of people who are, I don't know, it feels selfish to say this, but it also feels like partially what they're doing is selfish, and I know that they're doing their own projects and stuff, and they're in their careers and they're doing their stuff, and I respect that. But I feel like a lot of these bigger YouTubers and things like that who have general bases, like maybe some of these, more like slightly more left-wing, D&D YouTubers that, some right-wingers stick around because, they like D&D, or there are cross spaces, right, where there are cultural crossovers politically that they need to drop whatever the fuck they're doing and defend trans people like yesterday, because like if we don't stop that, it's one of the first dominoes to fall.
Yeah, I still will say that we can try to do stuff like that. I don't expect gaming YouTubers to be political. Liberals, the reason conservatives can do this for their content creators who are doing sports and doing gaming and all this stuff is because conservatives in general have a very low bar. They have low standards. They will repeat anything. They will feel an emotion and just say the emotion. Like, the illegals are going to come kill us all. We had 25 bajillion million immigrants come over here. The Elon Musk is going to save the day because he said so. like they could just the vaccines are evil. Like they could just say that. They don't have to think much about it. But liberals are much more usually they're not as much of a loudmouth. And the ones that are loudmouths are bad representations of the movement, right? So like the loud ones, the activist types that you'll hear about that they want to project are going to be the ones that are annoying and bad for growth. I don't disagree with you. I don't know how we can get that started. I definitely agree that we need, humanization, but it's still going to be pathetic. The Democratic Party has zero plan and they're running around like a chicken with its head cut off still. At the end of 2025. It's really pathetic. It's genuinely pathetic. I wish I could talk to those staffers. I wish I could. Yeah, I appreciate the call. Definitely hop in chat. We have a lot of trans people in my chat and also Discord. So join Discord and everything if you want to talk to other people who are also concerned about the same issues. Definitely feel free to hop in there. We do have a lot of mix of ideologies. There's some crazy Trumpers in there as well. So yeah, it could still be good to have you in there. But I appreciate the call.
Yeah, I've got one more thing, and this might seem a bit controversial. It's as a trans person, or I guess trans questioning person, my stance on the Charlie Kirk thing. I didn't fucking like Charlie Kirk, right? I didn't want him dead, but as one person said it, I am not going to mourn the wolf that would sharpen his teeth with my bones. And I don't want to be afraid of the conservatives in my community,
Well, yeah, because the president says all liberals and all Democrats did this, which is a really disgusting call for violence. And that's what it is. It's a call for violence. Whether people act on it or not, we'll see in the future. But when Trump says that shit, it's really scary for sure.
It's getting to the point where like I don't know, there's just so many people being like I don't know. I just don't want to die.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. Everybody should have that concern. No, it's a real concern. We're all feeling it, and we don't like political violence. We hate it. And like the fact that the right wing wants to push that narrative so hard after giving pardons to the January 6 people who are now, I want to make I don't know if this is even helpful, but I was thinking of making a list of all the January 6ers that Trump pardoned who turned out to be pedophiles and rape kids. Because there's a lot of people Trump pardoned from January 6 who raped kids after he pardoned them, and some who shot cops and who got shot by cops. These are terrible people that were in jail for January 6th. They did terrible things on that day, and Trump gave them pardons. And the fact that that's not even seen as political violence in America is crazy, but that just shows like the hierarchies in society. Like if there's a white guy, the guy who shot up the Mormon church in Michigan was a huge Trump supporter, far right, probably evangelical, who hated Mormons. He thought Mormons they believed in a fake prophet, they were the devil, all that kind of stuff. The right wing was not represented by that one shooter because he's a white guy. He's a dominant race and culture in our society that no one's seeking to scapegoat that hard. But with a trans person, you could have one trans shooter out of 50,000 white men, like just straight white guys who are just like who do most of the shootings, and they're gonna put it on trans people because they want to. They want to demonize trans people. So I do agree that humanizing people is the response to it, but we can't talk to every person. And one big thing we learned in organizing is after we knocked on people's doors, it didn't matter anymore because they're watching podcasts for 5 hours on their phones. By the time you knock on somebody's door and meet them, they've already had 50,000 hours of Fox News indoctrinating them into different ideologies. So it's hard to break that unless if you get more media content in their faces that's not completely just like Fox News to break that indoctrination. But yeah, I don't know. It's really tough.
Yeah, and I guess the last thing that I'd like to say to some of the more, how do I put this, vitriolic individuals in your chat. So many people have told me to hate you. I don't want to. I don't want people hurt. As a matter of fact, I used to be like a little conservative, if I'm being totally real. I could have fallen down certain rabbit holes, right? And shit, I have even had conservative friends, and I'm even afraid that I might lose some of my friends. But despite how much you hate me or hate people like me, I don't want the worst for you.
No, I really appreciate that. And we'll keep on saying that, and hopefully we can connect with people. The world does not need to be all chaotic and violent like Trump portrays it as. But yeah, definitely thank you for the call. Definitely join Discord. Definitely hop in the chat. But yeah, hope you have a great night.
Yeah, thank you. Good
All right,
night.
thank you. Have a good one. America. Hello, this is the YouTube Politics.
Hello.
Howdy.
So, the issue you have is with Trump, right?
I mean, I don't care about Trump. I care about the things that are happening as a result of Trump being president.
Well, I mean, you gotta look at it like, how did he become president?
He lied to people about literally everything.
Yeah, but he still got elected, correct?
Yeah, off of lies. Complete lies. 100%
Yeah,
lies on every single
but
topic.
my point. Yeah, but the point being is he still got elected. He still got there. Now, if you want to say that the election was, fraudulent.
No, I said he lied. I said he lied to the American people and they voted for him based off lies. Like, for example, ending Ukraine-Russia on day one. That got 10 times worse. It's still not anywhere near done. Palestine got 10 times worse. We're now doing a regime change in Venezuela, probably. We threatened to invade our allies like Canada and Greenland. That shit was never brought up during the campaign trail. Trump said he was going to lower costs on day one. They skyrocketed as well. Costs skyrocketed as well once Trump got in office on every level. Project 2025. Trump said he never heard of Project 2025. Now he's openly bragging about it. He lied to the American people. Bold-faced lies.
No.
That's how he won.
Hey, look, all right. I'm a veteran. Okay, I've served in the military. I did all stuff. I served under Barack Obama, and I served underneath of, any president. One of the things when I tell people, and they're like, "Oh, why don't you vote?" And I don't vote. I was like, because what the president says, I'm going to do. If Joe Biden showed up and said, buck up, get your rucksack ready and go, I do the same thing for him, or even Kamala Harris, because I understand it's part of what people were voted for. And well, my problem is that whether he said lies or not, okay, so he said lies, okay, that's what you feel. But not everybody does. But he still was elected. He is the president. He is the individual that was elected. Do we trivialize that thing because we don't agree or we thought he lied?
Yeah, so like when he's telling the military we need to fight the enemy within, which is liberals and Democrats in America, and we should use American cities as training grounds for the American military, I would say, even with George Washington's vision of our military, that's completely anti-American in every single way. His idea of waging war on the American people,
Well,
he's salivating at that opportunity.
Do you think Abraham Lincoln was a good president?
Now, for Abraham Lincoln, if there was like a civil war where we're gonna have a bloodly war about slavery and states' rights between the North and the South, I think that's a pretty extreme circumstance. So Lincoln did some things that are pretty authoritarian in wartime. But if America was being invaded by China or something, I would probably be more permissible.
Do you think we're not looking about North and South? We're looking about East and West. Let's look at it really. If you look at the middle of the country, it's pretty much red. It's like hard as shit red. Sorry, I apologize for cursing.
You're good.
But on the left and the right, I lived in Portland. I was in Portland in the mid-'90s. It was amazing. I used to be able to get on a tram for $2 and just ride down. It was amazing. I'm looking at it now, and I'm like, what are all these tents and everything? They weren't there before. Now, back in the 90s, it was actually Portland, Oregon had the most transient children between the ages of 14 and 19. And it was going that way. And I don't hate those people. I don't want to mess anybody up, but I just want them to have the better life. And I worry that what we're doing is we're just accepting failure. That's all it is.
Now, my big thing here would be, if we want to talk about law enforcement, Trump never talks about police anymore. He never talks about supporting law enforcement. He never talks about services to help homeless people or homeless veterans. He's cutting those programs right now. So when it comes to solutions, we have some solutions we can talk about. But in my opinion, and I think, in my opinion as well, according to the Constitution, sending in the military to do these things, which would not solve the issue, it would be just like brute force from the federal government, is the wrong way to go about it. And it really bothers me that Trump does nothing to bring us together. He said last week that all Democrats are his enemies. He hates Democrats. And he wants to attack all Democrats in America. No president in American history has ever said that about one side of the political aisle in such a charged way. I want someone to bring the American people together for solutions. But what Trump is doing right now is, like, the local government says, don't bring in the military, and the state says, don't bring in the military. And Trump is making the argument that it doesn't matter what the state's rights are, or the locality rights, or whatever the locals want. He can bring in the military whenever he wants. And I'd be against that, for example, if Joe Biden had an issue, like in Alabama or Oklahoma has terrible education standards. They only live to like 76. Their life expectancy is terrible in Oklahoma. They have terrible health care. If Joe Biden said we're going to send in the military to Oklahoma to fix their terrible infrastructure, I would say no to that as well. So you can, I agree there's problems we have to come together to solve, but I'd say that Trump is the worst guy for that.
Can I interject on that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if we go back to Aaron, that was in Portland, and he had a Trump hat on, and an individual said, "Are you a Trump supporter?" and shot him in the head, which happened. We have, we have video of that. Should Trump go and say, wait, we cannot have acts of violence being dealt upon people based on their political beliefs? Is that correct? Should the president, if Biden was like with J6, right? Did Biden have the right to imprison people based on their political beliefs?
Biden never did that. The court systems at our federal level had full indictments and had grand juries and had everything needed. Some bench trials, some that had a jury pool. All due process was followed with these people. They did illegal activities for January 6th. Like many of them, I think 150.
It wasn't. There wasn't. There was people that did not have any interaction with any of those individuals. And now that we know there's over 200 federal officers that were embedded in there, why can't we understand that?
Kash Patel fact-checked that. Kash Patel himself fact-checked that. Those officers responded to the event. Those FBI agents responded to it. They were never there.
I get that. But there was there were over 200.
There was no proof of
my
that.
issue-
Cash Patel said that was wrong. Just to be clear, okay. Just in general, we know people were there on that day that beat up cops and tased them in the neck. Trump pardoned that person. You can make arguments for some people. I don't really think so, but there's people who beat up cops on camera
No,
with their own
so-
with American
so-
flag poles and their own
so-
riot shields. Trump pardoned that person.
can we go to the point of I support Antifa. You guys want to go argue and do all this, screaming? I don't
Okay,
support. I don't support the.
I don't do any
I don't
Antifa
support
stuff.
the physical stuff.
I don't.
But if they want,
there
if
is-
they want to
I don't even know what
argue about
Antifa is.
ICE,
What do you?
well, I'm saying if they want to argue, they want to protest, they want to go to ICE facilities and scream and yell. That is their God-given right. Just like,
ICE agents are beating them up right now for doing that.
and that's the problem. They shouldn't have. No, if they want to yell and scream, but the issue is we also see where Antifa is attacking people. There was a female reporter that was just beaten by another female individual that was part of Antifa. And they didn't want to go and persecute. The cops didn't come.
Hey, I can talk about. I appreciate it, but I can't talk about random stories unless if there's like a policy tied to it or Trump talked about it or whatever. Because I can't comment on every single random story. Because I could bring up stories of Trump supporters going and shooting people up randomly, or doing it for political violence, or going to shoot pride parades as well.
Wait. No. When was the case to the Trump supporter? I mean, the most recent one was somebody that was wanting to attack the gay pride parade, but he got arrested right away.
Well, the guy
But
that shot up
when
the
is it-
Mormon church in Michigan was a Trump supporter. The Mormon church.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, he was a huge
No,
Trump
he wasn't.
supporter.
Yeah, but he attacked it because his mother forced him into it, and he didn't want it. He's like, that's the problem. Is that
He was still a
there's
huge Trump
more-
supporter who did a big act of political violence against Mormons
But
after
here's
Charlie
how-
Kirk was killed by a former Mormon.
The issue comes is the big one is when do we stop doing the politics stuff? When do we stop telling people that because I don't believe what you believe, you have to die?
I don't know if that ever existed. Like, for example, the left is against the death penalty. The right is pro-death penalty. I'm against death in all scenarios, even by the government. I believe in life in prison. I'm against the death penalty in general. The right is pro-death penalty.
But are you willing to talk to them and tell them that they're wrong, or would you rather them just be shot and killed and removed?
I hope you have a good
You
night.
don't.
I'm sorry, but like I keep on saying, I'm talking to hundreds of people every single week about politics.
I
I
got
just
you.
said, no, but I just
Yeah,
said
no.
what I do in
think
politics.
the
I said
biggest-
I'm anti-death penalty, even for
I
violent
am.
murderers. I'm anti-death penalty, even for
I am
pedophiles. I'm
too.
anti-death penalty. So like,
Oh
I
no,
don't know why you're asking that.
pedophiles can be dead. They can have their bread behind 6 feet. But no, I'm not gonna protect pedophiles, especially if you have like video proof of it. Now,
Hey
if
man,
you don't,
I do appreciate the call. I have to go on to another caller for tonight. We've been going for around a half
Alright,
hour, so I appreciate. I do really appreciate you calling.
I appreciate you listening to me. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. I hope to see you in chat again. Hope you have a great night, man.
You too.
All right, thank you. Have a good one. We are friendly around here. We are very nice. We love. Wait, you donated? Someone donated? Can I call now? Who donated? Where do you donate at? Did you donate on Venmo for a call? Where did you donate? On. Okay, you didn't donate on. You did not donate on Venmo or Cash App. My rules are usually you donate here to skip the line. Someone texted me saying they donated, unless if they sent a super chat. I didn't see that, but. Thank you so much for $10. Protect Democracy, December. Kelly for 100 joules. Nice, thank you. Hello, this is the politics YouTube thing.
Oh yes, I was just watching you. I was surprised you called me back that fast. So just to start off a little bit here, I live 100% off grid, not by choice, but because of how expensive things are to be interconnected to the grid. With what Trump was saying, what was it, a month ago, saying how people who live in RVs are homeless people and they need to be rounded up and stuff. That's like what's going on with that? Like I live in an RV right now while I'm building my house, so he's basically calling me homeless.
They see like homeless people as eyesores. He just says a lot of things. If you live somewhere that's not a house, they want to be able to round you up and get the filth off the street, as he says. He's not going to come for you. He's not coming for you. You don't got to worry. He's coming for the people who don't have anywhere to live.
I gotcha. Well, I'm out in Arlington, Arizona, just to give some backstory. I do have an off-grid YouTube channel where I talk about building stuff, but that's not the point of my call. The point is, I'm surrounded by maggots, and I have been attacked. I don't know how many times in the last week. I've been shot at in my RV. I had political signs, like one just said no kings. And that sign got utterly destroyed. I've had my shed broken into and my power system damaged, all because of political views. And as much as I want there to be neutrality here, I'm getting ready to start defending myself, man. And it's seeming like the political violence in my area is getting way out of hand. And the sad part is, I'm right by the nuclear power plant, one of the largest nuclear power plants in the nation. And that's a whole other story, but the point is, so many of these people are brainwashed. They think that me living in my RV is a big problem while I'm building my house. I've had the sheriff's call on me, I don't know how many times, just for existing. I mean, but this is all because I'm surrounded by that. And then the rest of the people I'm surrounded by are Hispanic people that don't speak much English. And so I'm part of what I'm terrified of right now is with all these ICE raids. Imagine he shows up at I'm pretty far out here. So imagine that they show up and just start raiding homes. I could never be heard from again.
Well, I'll just say that we're definitely concerned about the federal agents that don't identify themselves, because obviously anyone can show up and say they're a federal agent.
I had your YouTube channel backfeeding. Sorry about that.
You're good. No, I was going to say, with these federal agents that don't identify themselves, that's really scary too, because in America, and for conservatives who believe in standing your ground and also in the Second Amendment, if someone knocks on your door and says, I'm ICE, and you ask for a warrant and they don't give one, you're in a conundrum, because you're like, is this person actually federal law enforcement? Or is it a random guy trying to break into my house? And do I defend myself? Because if you defend yourself, you can probably, you might die. If it's feds, they have more people. You might go to jail if you kill an officer wrongfully. You'd have to prove that they did not identify themselves. So we worry about that. But for the other issues, I definitely just say find as much community as possible. Hopefully, you can stay safe. Definitely try to stay away from any conflict if possible. But yeah, I don't have as much. I don't have that much I can comment, obviously, for my political show. But
no, I understand. I fully understand. It's just, if nothing else, I wanted to kind of give you a view into, because Arlington, Arizona is only about 15-20 minutes out of Buckeye, Arizona. So I'm not really that far from, normal civilization. So it kind of gives you it kind of gives you an idea of just what, even today, with all of these things going on, lead by example. I went to the Dollar General in my area, and there's two people talking about how Democrats did all of this to people, and I'm like, I screamed and told them how fucking wrong they are and how they need to pay attention to what's going on and stop being brainwashed by the BS. You need to pay attention to the small news channels that are on YouTube that actually explain what's going on in a nonpartisan way, so you know what the truth is. Because by the time Trump takes away all of your stuff and you're bitching that you ain't got no health care, you're bitching that you're a farmer that's about to lose his farm, but you're all in on Trump, well, too late for you. And no comment on this. Just, I guess they get what they voted for at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, well, keep on trying to have good discussions as much as possible. Try to be convincing. Lead people towards those independent media sources. And I will tell you, I do have to cut our call short because you're not a debater. Because I can't talk to non-debaters for more than 5 minutes, and we've been going for like 5 minutes, just so I can keep the angry calls coming in. But yeah, thank you and that's for everyone who's watching the stream, by the way. If you want to have a call, you want to ask me questions, it'll be a shorter call if you are not debating me. But you can still feel free to call in anybody. But yeah, thank you for the call.
Well, just a quick question before I go. Is this number textable? Like, I could tell you, call me when I'm ready for a debate or something?
It's like a Google Voice number, so it's a fake number. It refreshes all the time, so I wouldn't say it's reliable. If you want to contact me, my YouTube name, joelapolitics@gmail.com is the best way to contact me for anything.
You got it. All right. I will hit you up or when I have some time. I appreciate it, man. Have a good night.
All right, have a good one. See you. Okay. This is why I stopped doing phone calls, guys. This is why I stopped. Please donate to the stream, guys. Please. If you want me to keep going tonight. It's up to you. It's up to you to donate to Joel Politics and Cash App. PayPal doesn't work. Use Coffee for PayPal, but Venmo, Cash App, or become a patron on my channel. Patreon, a patron member, or a YouTube member. Any of that kind of stuff.
Hello.
Hello.
What's up?
Nothing much. This is the politics. This is the liberal beta cuck show. Welcome.
Yeah, I called maybe like 3 weeks or a month ago. You couldn't tell if I was a real person or someone like that or something like that. And I was talking about cows and Bill Gates and stuff.
Yeah, your TikTok video did good.
Yeah, I'm a real person. I was trying to comment on your video to tell you that. But what are you talking about tonight?
Right now, Trump saying the military should use American cities as training grounds. And ICE did a really crazy raid in Chicago where they beat up a bunch of American citizens. They assaulted a bunch of young kids who were naked, tore them out of their homes, zip tied them, put them in the vans. It's a whole thing going on right now with ICE that I don't like.
Recently, I've been going through a lot of personal revelations, and I've been realizing how much technology has been influencing our generation.
Yeah. Indeed.
As a father to 3 kids at a young age, it's hard. And, I called right after, maybe right before Charlie Kirk got assassinated.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember the exact thing that made me call, but I just remember whenever I first started getting into conspiracy theories and stuff, whenever I was in high school. I graduated 2012, so we all thought the world was going to end in senior year of high school because of the Mayan calendar and everything.
That was sick. That was awesome. The movie 2012 was crazy.
Well, this is probably way before that. We all just, I don't know. I guess all my friends thought I was crazy, but a lot of the conspiracies have come true. And I was just wondering, do you believe that we actually been to the moon?
My reptile primitive brain, my animal brain wants to say no, but my science brain says yes. Okay, the evidence is too clear that we did go to the moon, but I don't want to believe it because it seems hard to believe because I wasn't there. So,
with all of the things that they've taught us in the past and how we've only recently begun in this generation of technology and how vast things have changed, do you honestly believe that the arguments that we're having today are legitimate to distinguish how we should raise our children?
Yeah, like right now, MAGA wants to, if an immigrant comes to the ER and they're bleeding out, they want to let the immigrant bleed out. A lot of them. They're currently making that argument.
But they don't. They don't, though.
No, but
Name
the
one
Trump
hospital
the
where
Trump
someone's
admin
bleeding out.
the Trump admin is making that argument currently. This week they're making that argument. JD Vance just made that argument. Now liberals might say we should be taking care of our neighbors. Republicans say don't take care of your neighbor. So like that's a big difference, I'd say, for
How do
the
you
future
feel
of America.
about feeling information, that's not researched and based on historical fact historical fact has always been misconstrued and interpreted into different people's opinions and stories over time. How can we believe in anything if you don't believe in Jesus? What else is there to justify your actions?
Republicans don't believe in Jesus, though. They don't believe in Jesus at all. I mean, Jesus
But what about
preaches
the ones
the
that do?
opposite of MAGA.
Right. No, I do believe, with the one thing I will side on with you on is that JD Vance and Trump and all the people have said recently since Charlie Kirk that this is the most they've ever spoke about Christianity. And I've followed a lot of politics throughout my whole life, and I do believe that they don't speak on that subject hardly at all whenever it's mainly our history and the whole world is based off of religion, no matter what type of civilization you go back to. They look to the skies and the stars, and they were way more advanced than we're taught. So nowadays it's far away from that. It's all based on religion, and they're all dumbing it down to, well, they kind of believe that the Egyptians believed in a flood and this and that and this, the
Hey,
Sumerians.
brother, I gotta debate some politics with people. Maybe we could have these conversations a different night to ponder the secrets of
It
the
is
universe.
politics, though. But no, ancient civilizations does boil down back to ancient politics, a bit to politics. I mean, nowadays we're fighting mainly about capitalism and all the, capitalism, socialism, etc. I mean, it kind of back to the Greeks. That's where we learned a lot of these things from, and our language, different parts of the earth, and racism and stuff. Now, I mean, it kind of does boil down to people doing their research.
Hey, man. Again, a more meta conversation like that, we could do it a different night, but I'm talking about the current events going on right now. So if you don't know the news headlines and stuff.
I can talk about the current events. I mean, the Netflix. I can talk about Cracker Barrel. I can talk about
Cracker Barrel, yes. Okay. Hey, I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful night, my brother. Have a great night. God bless.
Hello.
Hello, this is the Politics Show. What's up?
Hey, what's up, man?
Not much. What do you want to talk
How's
about?
it going?
I'm doing pretty good.
Hey, I've seen you a couple times on YouTube. I think it's really cool. You got your own little channel and a little following here. And I don't know. I saw you here and I saw your number and I was like, hey, I started talking some trash on your chat there.
That's fun.
And I don't know. What is it that you want to talk about?
Oh boy, there's so much going on in America right now. I don't know. There's the government shutdown. There's Trump's ICE raids. There's Trump talking to the military about invading U.S. cities. There's so much.
Do you want to talk about the shutdown or the ICE raid?
Whatever topic
Antifa?
you want to talk to a liberal about.
Antifa and peaceful protesting? I don't know.
I'm not going to talk about Antifa because that's a conspiratorial conversation. I want to talk more about just like facts and reported news stories and the Trump administration's policies towards it, maybe, but not Antifa itself because I don't even know what Antifa is.
So with this government shutdown, basically it's with the radical left demanding that illegal immigrants get free healthcare. Now, you mentioned earlier in your show that immigrants, if they need health care, they won't be taken care of, and that's not true. By law, if somebody is in need of medical care, the hospital has to take care of that patient and put him in a stable
Yeah,
condition.
but that's not
before
health
they
insurance,
release
right?
him.
That's not health. That's not
No,
health
it's
care
not.
or health
Well, I don't
insurance.
have health insurance. I don't have health insurance. My wife doesn't have health insurance because our policies would be $900 a month with an $8,000 deductible if something happens and we have to go to the emergency room. So if you have Medicaid, if you've ever had Medicaid, they send you that card in the
Yep.
mail, and it's a gold card, and you can literally go to any hospital, anywhere, and say, it's like having an American Express black card. You show up anywhere with a Medicaid card and you'll get any coverages that
Well,
you
in
need
good
on
countries,
the
anybody
spot.
can get health care. In the good countries, they have universal health care, so you don't got to worry about that. But like, okay, so with
No,
the
they have it
Medicaid
with a
thing,
waiting list, and that's not true.
America has waiting lists
That's
too,
not
very
true.
long waiting list. America has those too. Okay, so for the policy here with the immigrants, so Republicans are lying here. So I have the actual statute pulled up on my screen right now. So essentially, you can see in
Hold on, but
section. You don't need to
we were talking
look
about
at
the
it.
illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
And
So like the
illegal
law
immigrants
itself,
getting health care or getting
the law I'm
Medicaid.
reading to you, the law I'm reading to you,
Okay.
okay? They're describing who can receive this care. So, an alien lawfully admitted for permanent residence as an immigrant, as defined by sections 101A15 and 101A20 of the Immigration and Nationality Act. So, Republicans share the, I guess you could just say glossary for this, but they show you the section that the alien Medicaid eligibility is located in the statute, and they post just that. So they say, hey, there is something where, there's healthcare provisions here, and then you can get it with these standards, and it says aliens get healthcare. Now, the term alien for them in the legal sense means non-citizen. Now, in the actual statute, it says an alien lawfully permitted can receive it, but someone unlawfully here, and also known as illegal immigrants,
Okay.
they cannot receive it according to the law.
The topic of conversation here is the illegal immigrants that are staying in the Roosevelt Hotel for 60 days, free health care.
Wait, no.
free
Okay, you
housing.
can't.
No,
You
no,
can't.
no,
You
no.
can't.
It all
You're running
falls
away.
under
You're
the
running
same
away. You're running away.
category.
You're running
No,
away
no,
from the
I'm not.
conversation. You're running away
It
to a
all-
different
I'm not
conversation
running
because you
a-
lost
can I-
this one.
Let me say something.
Talk about the
Because it all
healthcare.
falls under the
We're
same
talking about the
conversation.
government
We're
shutdown.
going-
No, because you
we're-
lost this
yeah, the
point. You're running
government
away from it.
shutdown falls under
No.
sanctuary
You need
cities,
to
the
respond to the words I
Democratic
just said, or
Party.
I'm not talking to you. Respond to the words I just said. You Trump supporters love jumping around because you can't stay on one point. Respond to the words I just said.
I'm going a little deeper, but what were the words
Not
that you
deeper.
just said?
Respond to
Remind
the
me.
words I just said.
What did you just say?
So, in the actual statute for the law, it says you can receive this care if you're an alien, which means undocumented, or if you're, I'm sorry, not undocumented. That was wrong. If you're a non-citizen, okay, if you're a non-citizen lawfully admitted for permanent residence, as defined by sections 101A15 and 101A20 of the Immigration and Nationality Act. So, there's also a period for like a refugee or a lawful resident at all in America. So there's different categories of immigrant. No illegal immigrant can receive health care through this provision. So when Republicans say Democrats want illegal aliens, illegal immigrants to get health care here, it's not in the law they're supporting. It's a lie. I have the statute pulled up right now, highlighted.
You're asking me to debate. I disagree with that because number one,
my claim
they
is
shouldn't-
Republicans
they
are
shouldn't have
lying.
come here. They shouldn't have come here illegally.
No, okay, wait,
in
no,
the first
respond to the
place.
words I'm saying. Respond to,
Okay,
you gotta
my
stay on
parents
point in the
are
conversation. I'm
immigrants.
not, you can't
They
do this.
spent
No, okay, your
3
parents,
years
that's awesome.
fighting.
You could tell me your life
Listen,
story
I
after this
already,
conversation.
I already answered your question. If you're gonna
So
be
okay, so
close-minded and
Republicans,
stuff,
okay,
we
when
Okay.
Republicans say that Democrats want illegal aliens to get free health care, it says in the law that's not true. So Republicans are lying when they say that, right?
if somebody needs health care, if somebody's dying and they need medical attention,
We're talking about
no
Obamacare
hospital
subsidies.
will-
We're
no
talking
bu-
about Obamacare subsidies and
Obamacare
Medicaid.
subsidy. Obamacare
Yeah, we're not talking about
subsidies is
emergency
the reason
care.
why health care for a normal person costs
Don't
a
okay,
ton
don't
of
jump
money,
around. Don't jump
and
around.
it's not
Don't jump
even
around. Don't
worth
jump
it.
around. Don't jump
I'm
around.
not jumping around.
We are talking about
I'm
one
not
topic,
jumping around
okay?
to anything.
Okay,
No,
illegal
no, you're
immigrant
being
health care.
close-minded
Stay
here.
on this one topic. Stay on this one
you gotta
topic.
wake up, man.
Republicans
No,
are lying about this
if
one
you
topic.
came here illegally,
People can
okay,
see you are
and
running
you're
around.
dying, we will take care of you. We'll make you stable,
Okay,
whatever, and
think
you
about
can go
this.
out. But
Healthcare.
if you get a fever and you go to the hospital, or you go to the emergency room because you have a fever, or you go to the urgent care and you have a Medicaid card, the urgent care is going to start billing insurance. Premiums are going to go up,
So,
and the healthcare system goes through the
under
roof
the
because
law,
it's a
Democrats
Medicaid
are
card, and
supporting.
they build a government.
Under the law,
That's what
Democrats are
I
supporting.
feel like I know more than you do. Maybe
Under
I
the
should
law,
start my own channel.
I'm just saying on one point here because you can't answer it.
Okay.
So when it comes to illegal immigrants getting health care, Democrats
Uh-huh.
are not supporting illegal immigrants going on Obamacare subsidies, the ACA,
They are.
or Medicaid.
They are.
But in the statute, I just pulled up the actual law. It says if you're a legal permanent resident, if you're legally in America, if you're legally here, you can get the health care.
If you're
Illegal immigrants
yeah, for sure.
cannot
If
access
you're legally here, and you're working and you're paying taxes and you're a low income, underprivileged, you're for whatever reason handicapped or anything, you can fill out paperwork. You can go online and you can get help from the government. 100%.
That's what Democrats are supporting. Democrats are supporting
okay.
that.
Now, if you have a family that crosses the border, I do not disagree with migration. Man, migration is how America was made. Everybody has a right to live a better, prosperous life. But you can't just come over, it's messed up, and like somebody once told me, hey, whose fault is it, Jonathan? Is it my fault? Or is it their fault for taking advantage of the system?
Brother. Okay, I just
Or
want
is
to
it
take a
the
deep
system's
breath.
fault
A deep
for
breath.
allowing it to
A
be
deep breath.
taken advantage of?
Republicans are going on every social media platform, every media platform in general, on TV. They're saying Democrats are trying to fight for this government shutdown to give illegal aliens free health care. Now, I just talked about the law where it says that's not possible. The law Democrats support. The subsidies they want to fund go to illegal residents and American citizens. So when Republicans say Democrats want to give free health care to illegal immigrants, you won't answer this question because you know you're wrong. But I want you to just be an honest person for a second and say when Republicans say that.
Question. When Republicans say what?
When they say Democrats are fighting to give free healthcare to illegal aliens in this conversation, the law itself says that's not possible. Only for legal residents and for citizens is this going to apply. So when Republicans say Democrats want to give healthcare to illegal immigrants, the law Democrats support does not do that. So why would Republicans say that if the Democrats are not supporting giving free healthcare to illegal immigrants?
Because the states, this is the United States of America. The United States, all the states combined give the federal government the power. The federal government gives funding to the states, and the states are giving the sanctuary states, some states, California, Illinois, New York, they're using their federal funding to do what the states want to do. The states have a lot of power.
Okay,
That's
so
why
the
Florida
states.
does what it
Okay,
does, Texas,
so you're
what
talking
it
about the
does, what it
states.
does. And now, if you think about
okay.
it, New York's the financial district of the world. Man, they've taken over New York. They've taken
but
over
for
Chicago.
the federal,
They've taken over
so
California.
the Democrats right now in Congress are not from New York. They're not from these individual states. For the
They
federal
are. Chuck
law,
Schumer's from New York. Chuck Schumer and
okay, that's not. He's not in the.
Jeffries are
He's not
both
in the
from New
York. He doesn't do New York State government. He doesn't
What do
vote
you
in New
mean?
York laws. He's not in the New York
They're-
State
they're-
government. He's a United States senator. He's not a New York senator. So he votes on
But
American
he's
laws
from.
for
They're
the federal
both. They're
government.
both from New York. They're both from there.
That does not matter
They're
at all in
both
this
from there.
conversation. It does not matter at all in this
Okay, but they're
conversation.
both from there. Okay.
And why are you saying that?
Because you're saying they're not from New York, and then we started talking about, New York is a huge part of this country. It's a financial district of the world. It's the New York Stock Exchange,
Okay.
NASDAQ, all that stuff. And it's
At the
become-
federal,
look
don't run away. Okay, at the federal
No,
government
I'm not,
level,
but we're
when
talking
Democrats
about New York,
for the
Chicago, California.
buddy, please, you're purposely being slimy. Come on, for the federal government in D.C., for the Democrats in the federal government with the government shutdown, the law they want to be providing subsidies for only applies for legal residents and American citizens. Now, you can argue that certain states use their budgets to provide health care for some undocumented people. That happens at the state level. But when Republicans say they want to fund free health care for all illegal aliens in America, to spend $1.5 trillion or whatever on illegal aliens getting health care. At the federal level, that's just simply not true in the law. It's completely made up.
I mean, we can go in circles about this, but the fact of the matter is the government is shut down because illegal immigrants are getting health care. They're staying in, do you know that the Teddy Roosevelt Hotel in Manhattan has been at a full occupancy, double the rate? So the last, while Biden was in for 4 or 5
Okay,
years.
I'm
until
sorry,
recent.
bro. One more time.
So
One more time. The
it
Obamacare
all,
subsidies. Okay, no, you just said it again. You just like it's so sad we can't have conversations anymore because of people like you. But like the Obamacare subsidies. Okay, the Obamacare,
I
the
answered
Obama.
your question
No,
already.
you just said
No.
again. You just said again. The government's shut down because illegals are getting health care, which is which we just talked about in the law. That's not true. Like in the actual law itself, you can read the law yourself. It's not true.
What's the abbreviation? What does CR stand for? Contingency report that they could have signed and kept the government running. They didn't sign it.
In the actual
Because-
law, no, in the actual law, we know for a fact that the
Okay.
government's not shut down
I
over
guess you
illegal
want to take
aliens getting
somebody
healthcare.
else's call because healthcare is not getting us anywhere. And I
No,
guess we
the
can
thing
take
is,
somebody
here's
else's
the
call.
big thing though. Liberals often want to have conversations with conservatives, so we never get to actually hit the point we want to talk about because you run all over the place. You're going to talk about New York City and the border and Roosevelt Hotel and all these different things. And I'm trying to just get you to understand the literal wording of the law in front of me says something very explicit about where this healthcare goes to. But you can't even read this law or say that, okay, well, Democrats, the subsidies are pushing for right now are not for illegal immigrants whatsoever. This is for American citizens and legal residents. But you can't say that. You have to keep on being slimy and going around it. And this is really difficult. I don't want to talk to someone else. I want you to just be an honest person. But like,
It's the then from what if you're telling me that the government is shut down and it's not shut down because illegal immigrants are getting health care, then I'm misinformed.
yeah, Republicans are lying
Illegal
about it.
if you're here in the United States illegally, okay, and you are gaining from federal tax dollars or anything federally funded, healthcare, food stamps, housing, cash benefits, and you're collecting on any of that stuff and you're not working and paying taxes and contributing, that is not right. Doesn't matter how you lay it out.
Wait,
Healthcare,
again, we're
whatever
not
it
talking
is.
about that at all. We're just talking about like this
No,
law
that's
for the
exactly what we're
shutdown.
talking about. We're talking about healthcare. We're talking about healthcare and illegals getting healthcare. I mean, we keep going back to the same
We
thing.
were
and
talking
I
about
feel
the
like
government.
I feel like I'm in the
we were talking
Groundhog
about
Day
the
here.
No, we were talking about the government shutdown. Why is the government shut down? Republicans say because Democrats want to give illegal aliens free health care, and I said that's not true.
Then from what you're telling me, something different than what I've heard.
Well, you don't need to hear it because Republicans lie about it through their mouth, but the lie from the mouth
Everybody lies out
cannot
of their
be.
mouth.
Yeah, that's true. So we can find the truth in the actual law Democrats are supporting. The law, as written, does not apply for illegal aliens or illegal immigrants. It only applies for permanent residents, U.S. citizens, or someone here illegally. And that's the whole thing I'm trying to get across. And we need to be able to just like, Republicans have said this so much over the past few days, and they're conflating it with other issues, but Democrats are not shutting down the government to fund illegal alien healthcare. These are subsidies for the ACA. These subsidies help Americans buy healthcare and legal residents of America buy healthcare. Illegal aliens are not benefiting at all from these Obamacare subsidies being increased. But yeah, the other discussion they had was on and this is separate, but on JD Vance brought up, if you go to the emergency room, if you have someone here illegally and they go to the ER and their leg's broken, do you think we should be helping that person?
100%.
Okay.
100%.
You
should help that person.
Okay.
You know?
I agree.
I agree. Now, I have been to the ER and there's, you see people in there, whether you wonder they're sick or not. That's not up for you to decide. But if you put into somebody's head, hey, if you go to the doctor, you have to pay out of pocket, they're going to think twice before going. Think about it. You know, if you have a common cold, oh, I'm sick or this, my parents, perfect example. Senior citizens, they have Medicaid, they're old, they're retired. My God, going to the doctor's part of their life. You know, it's a routine. And they go to the doctor and he bills the Medicaid and bills the Medicaid. And it's the same thing with the illegals. If you want to talk about something else, we can. I don't know.
Do you
This is
support
pretty
ICE
cool, man.
agents?
I got on a YouTube live with you.
No, I appreciate the conversation, and I think the conversations need to be intense, but still respectful. So I do appreciate the call. My last question for you: how do you feel about ICE agents grabbing random brown people, because they think they look like illegals, detaining them for days or hours or whatever, and wearing face coverings and refusing to identify themselves? Do you have any issues with what ICE is doing right now?
Yeah, I do. I do and I don't. I would like to believe that the ICE agents really are only gathering the criminals. I have a flower business, right? So a lot of people that I work with are immigrants. They're illegals also. My business has been affected by this, been affected by tariffs, been affected by a lot of stuff. And going back to your question, I talked to my wife about it, and I feel like a lot of people came here looking for a better life, and they're already here. The border's closed. They're already here. Instead of sending them back, give people a chance to, I don't know, expedite paperwork. And you know, the ones that are really here with a clean record, you know, and a family and have been here for years, give them a chance to get on board and to get with the program and to catch up with the times. They mentioned also in the presidential election that there were almost 400,000 kids that went missing crossing the border. Haven't heard anything on the news about them looking for those kids. As far as the ICE agents covering their faces, they're getting threatened. They have families. I agree with them covering their faces. I do.
I think it's very
as a
un-American
safety
and anti-freedom to do that. But like with the numbers of kids missing, that was a lie. So they can't find the kids because they weren't never really fully missing. There's a weird thing with like checkpoints and checking on updating people at certain. It's complicated, but like with masking, there's never been a police force in American history that had masks on. Even back when we had the KKK and the Civil Rights Movement and Rodney King and the riots of the early 1900s and 1800s, we never had a secret police force in America where we couldn't have their identification or their faces or anything. Trump posts the pictures of judges and their kids,
you're
and
right,
he doesn't
man.
like them.
That's isn't that part of public service or something? Like they're supposed to identify themselves to us?
It's about
I just
safety.
realized that now with you mentioned that, with all the videos you see online, when you get pulled over by a police officer, I don't answer questions. What's your name and badge number? They're supposed
Now
to answer.
imagine, and with these federal agents, if ICE came to your door right now, and this is what they're doing, they could legally blow up your front door with explosives. They could detain you and your family with no actual cause. They operate under reasonable suspicion. They need no warrant. They can detain you to run your
They
record
do
now.
their homework, though. Yeah,
No,
I'm
they
sure
don't.
do
I
their
promise
homework.
you. I promise you. There's a lawsuit right now for
No,
Alabama,
man,
for
come on.
example.
They got to do their
This
homework
guy,
before they invest that manpower into that stuff.
I promise
Look,
you
I
they're
saw a
not
video
doing
the
it.
other day where they
I promise you there's a video from Chicago today. Watch my content more often, please, because I swear to God that there are
You're
things
talking about
happening
the
right now that
landscaping
are
guy with
crazy.
his two sons?
Well, there's one guy from Alabama who's a U.S. citizen who was detained twice by ICE, and they just said his ID was fake both times, and he got beat up by them for no reason. And we have reports of like Alligator Alcatraz, half the people there having no violent record whatsoever, just being here on like visa overstays, for example. And also ICE right now, they're lined up with face masking on outside of immigration court hearings. So people are doing the right thing. They're going to their court hearings, and they have 25 ICE goons trying to intimidate them. And I'm like, why would you try to scare people from doing the proper channel to do the legal way, to try and find a legal remedy?
People or the people out there protesting with the masks and gas masks. Hey, this is some crazy times that we're going through. You know, these live streams, social media, the internet.
No, but like, do you want cops to be able to detain you? But the thing is, do you want federal agents to have the right to detain you, to not identify themselves, to just say, come with us, and you have no choice at all but to comply with them? You don't know who it is. It could be anybody dressing up as an agent, if they don't communicate. That's my big worry as well, and they're detaining a bunch of American citizens.
I agree with law and order. I agree with law and order.
But that's not law and order. If they're doing illegal things. It
makes me, you know,
we need transparency from law enforcement, though.
If my neighborhood, I live in Florida, I live in Miami. If my neighborhood in Miami was anything like what Los Angeles was like, or Chicago, or New York, with the protests and the rioting, man, I would freak out. I would not want my 12-year-old daughter going out, my 10-year-old son going out. I would not go out to dinner with my wife. I told you I had a flower company. I have customers all over this country.
Hey, before I get off here, though, all I'm saying is there could be riots, there could be issues, there could be people crossing the border illegally, there could be robbers and murderers and all that stuff. But I'm way more afraid that the government can just take me into custody legally and do whatever they want with my body. That's my main concern.
Into custody. They're not going to take you into custody illegally. Think about
I will
it.
now.
If you do the numbers,
this is the big
20-something million people crossed the border while Biden was in office.
Those are fake numbers.
Do the numbers as what? Yeah, they're fake numbers. Whatever. If you do what they're averaging deporting daily, they can only deport like 2 million people.
In Chicago, there was something that happened. So I just did a video on this on my TikTok. Okay, if you want to, everyone check out my TikTok, Drolla Politics. In Chicago, we have a record of how many U.S. citizens they are detaining. There's operations where they will detain 100 U.S. citizens for every 5 immigrants they find. They are grabbing anyone they can, and they have a policy with ICE where if you're brown, if you have an accent, they are allowed to grab you. That's enough suspicion for them to grab you and put you in a detainment facility if they want to run your data. And that's really scary, in my opinion. They could just say, come with me. No letter, no notice ahead of time. We should not have secret police in America. They should have their faces out. That's part of the job. FBI has their faces out. DEA has their faces out. The only people who don't have their faces out are doing special operations for these departments going after cartels. But there's people walking around the rich parts of Chicago and the rich parts of DC and the rich parts of these areas going after college kids who say something the government doesn't like. They should not be having masks on.
I'll go back to what I said before. You know, the illegals are already here. You have to deal with it. The border should be closed. Throughout those 4 years of everyone crossing the border, there were a lot of military-aged people crossing the border. A lot of Asians, a lot of South Americans, a lot of people crossing the border unknowingly.
Okay, I agree. A lot of people came over. I have to go to another call. I'm not going
to. One rotten apple spoils the whole bunch.
I disagree with that wholeheartedly.
That's why the families that are here, you know, trying to achieve the American dream,
it doesn't spoil the whole bunch, though. There's going to be bad apples. I could find Christian pedophiles. I could find murderers from any church. I could find people from Republicans, liberals. I could find anyone from any bunch that can be bad, and they're not going to spoil everybody. Immigrants have a lower crime rate than American citizens. And there's a reason why. But, like, my big thing, again, is just you can say these are issues, but the solution does not need to be secret police who are not accountable to any laws or standards. Law enforcement police officers, we have rights for a reason. They read us our rights. They have a way that they handle us, the civilian population. If these federal agent thugs can go into any place in America that the president says I don't want that for a Democrat to be able to do that either.
And that's
to
the federal
do whatever.
government's job is to keep us
No, but
safe.
that's the thing though. The ICE wearing
Yeah, that's
masks
their
is
job.
brand new in American history. That's brand new. That usually having law enforcement working with your civilian population with your face covered, that's reserved to Russia or China. That's never
You will
been an
not
American
find a
thing.
single taxpayer that's against law and order. You won't
But
find
I'm
a
saying
taxpayer
that you
that's
don't need to
against
have
law
a
and order.
secret. You don't need to have a secret, unaccountable federal police force that has no boundaries and no process for warrants or any regard for anything. Regard for personal safety. In Chicago, they ripped naked children out of their apartments. In Chicago, they ripped naked children out of their apartments and put them in zip ties. American citizens, because they don't do their homework beforehand. And Americans, I guarantee you, they're on my side of this issue. People don't love seeing these armored trucks and unidentified federal agents in town. The reason law enforcement works with communities, it makes everybody safer.
Children for breaking the law sucks. I've been separated.
Hey,
from
okay,
my
one more
child for breaking the law.
time. I'm sorry, one more time. Okay, so American citizen children, their parents broke no laws. ICE just claimed there were immigrants there. These children were ripped out at 10 p.m. at night, naked, from their homes, zip-tied to other children and put in the back of a U-Haul. American citizens, they did no crimes. Their parents did no crimes. Their only crime was being in the vicinity of ICE. They were in the general area of ICE. And anybody around ICE who's black or brown is a suspect to them. They are American citizens who did nothing wrong. That's my big thing here. Yeah.
Then, like they say, we're in America, and you can sue a ham sandwich. Those people won't have to work another day in their lives. So they'll sue the government.
Hey, do you know what the issue is? Do you know what the issue is?
And it's true.
Hey, do you know what the problem is? We
The
don't know
old lady
who the
from
hell
McDonald's
these
that
people
started it
are.
all.
We don't know who they are because they have masks on and they don't have
There's a lot of
any
issues,
identification.
man.
They don't have badges or masks. How do they know who even did it? That's the
There's a lot of issues, and Trump is.
Hey, you just made my whole argument. They can sue the government. Who did it? We don't know. They have full covering on that. We don't have any badges. We don't know who did it. How can they sue someone? They don't know who it is. It's a secret police for a reason. We don't know who the hell did it.
Obviously, they were arrested and there's paperwork. They know who did it.
There's no paperwork. That's the issue. There's no paperwork. Hey, buddy. I'm sorry. There is no paperwork. They did not give paperwork.
Okay.
I'm sorry. You're just not informed here. They're not giving paper. That's why we are so up in arms here. They're not giving warrants. They're not giving paperwork. They're not giving warning. They're not doing that. All the stuff you're saying right now about suing, that does not exist because of the issue of the secret policing. That's why I have a big issue here. But hey, we're not going to get there on this conversation. I do appreciate the call.
So do I, man. Thank you.
I hope you have a really nice night, man.
But you too, man. Take it easy.
All right, you too. Have a good one.
Bye.
Okay, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe. How do you guys feel that went? Because that was an interesting conversation. Because they do this a lot, and Charlie Kirk debated like this. I noticed that where he would start with a point. If there was a conversation that Charlie Kirk was losing a point, he would move to 50 different conversations. So like if it comes to like the Trump admin deporting a citizen, or the Trump admin deporting a visa holder for saying Israel's bad, for example, for saying a foreign country's bad, and Trump deporting them, and if Charlie Kirk could not defend that because that's anti-freedom of speech, on behalf of a foreign country, he would just like go to a different topic that's completely unrelated. So like I'm trying to catch people when they go to another topic, because they'll do this whole thing where it's like, well, what about asylum laws? And I'm like, well, asylum laws are for people who are coming here, but like what if they're misusing it? It's like, well, if they're misusing it, we get it. But what about the Roosevelt Hotel? What about the hotel in New York? It's like, well, the New York hotel. It's like, what about the Haitian immigrants? Well, the Haitian immigrants, that was all. Well, what about Lake and Riley? It's like, well, Lake and Riley. It's like, what about the Chicago? What about the Colorado apartment buildings? It's like, okay, with and then they keep bouncing all over the place. So if there is one point where you can really nail them on something, they run away from it with different points right after that. So that guy did that a few times. I don't know how purposeful it was, but like I have the law pulled up on the screen, right? I have the law on the screen in front of me. I have the law right here, not shown on the shorts right now, but here's the law I've had pulled up. And I'm reading right from the law itself. And people are calling me a liar in chat. And I see your comments. I do see your comments. And that guy would not trust me. And he's like, well, people lie all the time. And I'm like, yeah, they do lie on media. Which is why you can go to the source of the law to see that illegal immigrants are not going to get these subsidies. Oh boy. Thank you for watching. Please drop a like, comment, subscribe. Please donate to the channel to help my pain. Thank you, L and Sri. L and Sri for donations on Cash App. Or not, on Venmo. On Venmo, I mean. On Venmo. Thank you, L and Sri. What's the law? The law here is basically... So Democrats are talking about restoring Obamacare subsidies that help people pay lower premiums through the ACA, through the Affordable Care Act. And Republicans are making the argument that the government is shut down because Democrats want to give free healthcare to illegal aliens or illegal immigrants or whatever you want to call them. But the law that Democrats are going off of, that they want to fund, give the funding for in this budget, this law says explicitly here that if you want to receive this, you need to be a citizen or national of the United States of America. You need to be an alien, so a non-citizen lawfully admitted to permanent resident status. You need to be you need to be in an official protection program here, so another legal status here, or another individual who lawfully resides in America, another lawfully residing person in America. And there's a bunch of other laws that cross over and statutes you have to go off of. But the overall point is that this law that Republicans are saying Democrats want to do that funds healthcare for illegal aliens getting free healthcare. Number one, it's not free healthcare. There's subsidies in the overall market, which affects premium costs. That's the main thing they're talking about for the Democrats. We don't do much free healthcare in America. We're not a good country like Europe. Europe is a country, by the way. Europe is its own country, and Australia and Canada. All different kinds of universal healthcare, but that's not here nor there. But yeah, the overall point is when Republicans say Democrats want to give illegal aliens free healthcare, you can read the law itself. It does not give anything to anyone who's not here legally. You need to be here legally in one way or another to get these subsidies that Democrats are talking about. See, someone said wrong again. It's like, okay, you want to say wrong? I explained the law to you. You're just a brain dead moron, all right? Go suck on some, I don't even know. Go have a good meal, buddy. Don't think too much today because you're a silly goose. I don't know how to talk. Anyway. Ooh, we hit 30,000 subscribers. $30,000 subscribers. Nice. Thank you for watching, guys. Please drop a like, comment, and subscribe. We have good viewership. We have decent viewership tonight. I want to keep going, but I'm sleepy. Alright, guys, I appreciate I need to stay... Yeah, thank you for 30,000 subs, guys. I appreciate you guys watching. I need to stay true to my schedule. I went an hour 40 tonight. I'm working back into being a streamer. I'm getting my credentials back as a streamer. I'm working my way up. Hiring is at its lowest level since 2009. That's good. We'll do some Twitter scrolls for a little bit, guys. We'll do some Twitter scrolls. This is interesting too. Many arguments made on the right yesterday could basically boil down to if a child is hit by a car before they're rushed into the emergency room, we're going to have to check to run a citizenship test or check, I mean. So there was a law, the EMTALA, signed by Reagan in 1986 that required hospitals to provide ER care to people who arrive with an emergency. So you would not check their insurance status, their financial status, their legal status. You would take care of them because they might bleed out or die if you wait. And this is here to protect Americans, but also protects people who are here who are not legally in America because you're not going to check. Now, this is what doctors usually do because they believe in morality and they believe in helping people with their skills and abilities. I don't know. It's really tough. Republicans are arguing that we should let immigrants bleed out, which is one of those things where if you want to make sure you check everybody's citizenship to go to the ER after a car crash, then that harms everybody involved. So if you have to check everybody's passport or whatever, or their papers of any kind, that can affect Americans as well. There's certain things that affect your rights as well. You might think you're taking rights away from illegal aliens or immigrants, but you're really taking them away from yourself. Kyle saw the Cambridge debate where Charlie Kirk got cooked. $5. Thank you for $5. Nice.
Have the Trump, when I suspect this project wouldn't exist if we didn't have the Trump administration, where you had a new maverick candidate who didn't have the machinery of the party necessarily like lining up and everybody from previous administrations helping out. And so you had this situation where it became clear that something like this is very necessary.
Well, that's quite true. I would say even more necessary in kind of the circumstances you describe, because even a we'll call it an establishment candidate where everybody just sort of wanders back in, but they're not particularly conservative, then they're more open. They know what to do more. There's less chaos, but they're less likely to actually seek to implement conservative policies. So there's a trade-off there, and we're trying to overcome the downside of that trade-off.
Did you guys see did you guys see that the head Politico director, or whatever it's called, the chief editor, resigned, and the Politico editor is like a far-right Republican, like a Trumpist Republican? The same Politico that Republicans said was a leftist deep state ploy funded by USAID. That same Politico is run by a radical right-winger. And also, most news stations in America are ran by right-wingers. Fun fact. Like, by far. Griper Nazi realizing...
Instead of furloughing them, and do you think they might target workers in blue states?
I do. I think it goes back to this question, Tom, that it appears like they're trying to do that. The disruption is there. The willingness of the Speaker of the House to blame. I have seen Fox News even correct this issue, that trying to tell the public we're in a massive misinformation campaign. The President himself tweeting out AI videos of fake news reports on health care. This is really dangerous, and it's really hard. And I cannot express to you the concern and the absolute bafflement and fear of our European allies asking me, is this stuff really going on? So yeah, I have a feel that they do that. And again, they're going to tell you this, and like with the VA, and this is what really drives me crazy, they'll come back and tell you, oh, we're not firing anybody important. We're not going to fire doctors. No, just the people who change the linens or get the surgical instruments clean so they're ready to go. Those people aren't there. Or the IT, the people that allow you to schedule your appointment with the VA. There's a reason that all these people work together in agencies, and everybody's valuable in them. So yes, I do worry about that, Tom.
I don't like the word dangerous they use. I feel like they say everything Trump does is dangerous. You need different ways to describe it. I know you're an elected official, but do something more fun, dude. Pick out better words. Thank you for watching, guys. Please drop a like, comment, and subscribe. The calls I had tonight, they all end on a good tone, right? If you want to support de-radicalizing our politics, then you got to support my channel. Just saying. Repost it. If you cannot donate financially, which if you can, Joel Politics on Venmo or Cash App, PayPal through Coffee, become a patron, please. Become a patron on my Patreon account. That's the best way to donate every month. I think it's like $5 a month. It can really help me out doing content for longer and shit like that. For real. Wait, where's this? Someone wants to date Trump. Watson. Okay. Wait, where's that one at? Yeah. Watson said she saw agents dragging residents, including kids, out of the building without any clothes on, and into U-Haul vans. Kids were separated from their mothers, she said. It was heartbreaking to watch, said Watson. Even if you're not a mother, seeing kids coming out buck naked and taken from their mothers, it was horrible. Watson said she went into the building to help one of the residents and was shocked by what she saw. Stuff was everywhere. You could see people's birth certificates and papers thrown all over. Water was leaking into the hallway. It was wicked crazy. Now, I want people who have kids. I don't have kids. But imagine the government comes and claims that you did something illegal. Imagine you have kids, they say, you did something illegal, we can't tell you what it is, we have no warrant, but we're going to blow up your door. They literally used explosives to blow up doors to get in some of these places. They take your kid from your arms. Your kid's naked. They zip tie your kid to other children and put them in the back of a U-Haul van for 5 hours at 10 p.m. at night until 3 a.m. And the government is doing this off of suspicion. They rip through your house to find your papers to make sure you did not infringe upon the government's predetermined standards for if you're illegally here. Now, you can say you're an American citizen, you know you're an American citizen, but they have detained American citizens. They just say the papers are fake, or they can't find the papers, so they detain you until they can run your name. It might take days, it might take weeks, we don't really know. But just imagine being in this position, and you have no idea it's happening. You hear a Black Hawk helicopter above you, you hear explosions, you hear flashbangs, you hear gunshots, you hear pepper rounds. Just imagine what these parents went through here. Like having your kid grabbed out of your arms and put into a U-Haul van, zip tied. I feel like I wish Democrats spoke with this language because it's so unacceptable, and I guarantee you a vast majority of people are not okay with this. What the hell is this page, dude? What the?
Elected office. We've had communists in city council. We had Mark Antonio, who was the...
Whoa, what the hell? What's on my feed? What's on my feed? Dude. This is crazy, by the way. Dave Chappelle is one of the comedians who took the Saudi blood money. They slaughter journalists there. You cannot speak. You cannot be a woman there. They have slaves. They are crazy there. They are terrible. The human rights abuses are insane. But like Dave Chappelle, Bill Burr, a bunch of other comedians took huge paydays to go do a comedy show in Saudi Arabia. And this dumbass, Dave Chappelle, says, it's easier to talk here than it is in America at a comedy festival. And what is it? How do you say that word? How do you say it? Where comedians had to contractually agree not to tell jokes about Saudi leadership or religion. Oh, I heard this word. Riyadh? Yeah, Riyadh. So all these rich people perform in Saudi Arabia, and in Saudi Arabia, a dictatorship, a slave empire, a blood money empire that has killed Americans for fun, brought to you by 9/11, right? And also they saw their journalist on camera. If you speak out against the royal family, the theocracy, if you're a woman and you speak, you get killed and stoned. In this country, the human rights abuses are insane. And these comedians go there and they compare it to America. And they say America is worse for free speech versus this. America is worse for free speech than this. That is the argument they decide to make. It's just kind of freaking insane, dude.
You almost wiped out 3 cars back there. Put it in park now. I can't get a ticket. Hey, stop the car.
The AI videos are taking over, dude, on that new Sora app.
Captain, keep your hands on the wheel. You almost wiped out 3 cars back there. Put it in park now. I'm sorry, officer. I just... Don't move. Door's locked. Unlock it right now. I can't get a ticket. Hey, stop the car. Captain, keep your hands on the wheel. You almost wiped out 3 cars back there. Put it in park now. I'm sorry, officer. I just... Don't move. Door's locked. Unlock it right...
Bro, for AI, this is completely believable. If this was a person, anybody would believe it.
Captain, keep your hands hands on the wheel. You almost wiped out 3 cars back there. Put it in park now. I'm sorry, officer.
Okay, not the SpongeBob part. Not the SpongeBob part. I'm saying if there was a real person in the car, not SpongeBob. I know people don't think SpongeBob is real. Sorry.
Keep your hands on the wheel. You almost wiped out 3 cars back there. Put it in park now. I'm sorry, officer. I just... Don't move. Doors locked. Unlock it right now. I can't get a ticket. Hey, stop the car. Talking.
The potential for fabricating evidence with CCTV videos is really scary, really insane. And our politicians don't know how to use a phone. They don't know how to like use a TV screen. They can't turn their own TV on. They have to call their grandkids to turn their TVs on and off. There's no conversation about this whatsoever, about permissible or permittable evidence in court. And there's so many conversations we're not having about AI and the threat here. Even mob violence, right? Even mob violence. Let's say, and this is terrible, but let's say there's a huge attack somewhere and you want to blame a certain minority group, no matter who it is, like the Mormon church that was shot up in Michigan. MAGA and conservatives said this was a Muslim that did it before they knew it was a white conservative MAGA fan, like a Trump supporter, because they wanted it to be Muslim so they could attack Muslims in America. Now, if you have this technology and you can make a fabricated footage of a Muslim doing the crime, spread it all over social media, there's no fact checkers anymore. You can cause mob violence and race war and race riots like we saw in the UK based off of lies and disinformation. And this artificial intelligence is ripe for that potential. It's really scary. Well, toxic. It's not even about adapting and learning to spot AI because it's so good now. Like, I don't know if they have the video of Sam Altman. Yo, Stephen Miller being gay is crazy. I'm just saying. Because I am going to tell Donald Trump that he has such a big, fantastic, round, and girthy rod that I'm going to be sucking every day. Because Donald Trump is my daddy. Donald Trump is the best president of all time. The radical left.
When Joe Biden was president when Republicans were aggressively hitting the anti-trans narratives and also successfully implementing anti-trans legislation at the state legislature level already, building the framework for what came next. And
Joe Biden was by far the most radically pro-trans leader, maybe of any major country in human history. Now, states in America, the governments at that level, that's hard to control, especially with our Supreme Court and with our standards and our system of how we do governing in America. But Joe Biden, when it comes to the way he spoke about trans people, his relationship with Sarah McBride, our first trans congresswoman, the idea that Democrats were not good on trans issues, I agree they're weak right now advocating for trans people, and they're abandoning trans people for the wrong reasons because they're weak at politics and blaming trans people for how bad they are at politics. But Joe Biden himself, his administration was very radically pro-trans, extremely radically pro-trans.
The absence of fighting back against that, the administration also allowed this to happen in some very meaningful ways.
I don't know how. Okay, you can fight back harder with rhetoric. I agree with criticisms of the party, but we got to be realistic here, dude. Like, they did not just allow. Are they going to tell Missouri you can't do that? Can the federal government tell Missouri you can't enact a policy? I'm sure you could take it to court, and I'm sure they have. But like, what are you gonna do? Unless if Hassan's advocating for Joe Biden to send the National Guard into these states to protect trans people, which the climate would have never allowed for that. But I guess after Trump now, they want people to do crazy authoritarian actions like that. But at the time, you have to give Democrats credit. Like, it's not even a difference of like, don't ask, don't tell in the military versus kicking gay people out in general. Like, it's not that difference. It's a difference of full trans. We're looking at procedures for healthcare, for mental health care, for surgeries, for civil rights, for everything under Biden versus they want to erase trans people from society under Donald Trump. Minimizing the difference there is insane. It's not a both sides thing whatsoever. And acting like it is a disservice to trans people. I'm just saying. Hassan here is kind of crazy. Please drop a like, comment, and subscribe. Biden pushed too far left, someone said in chat. See, the issue is, that might be true, but it's still not good. I think the pronoun conversation could have been done better, for sure. The trans sports conversation could have been done in general. We let the right wing completely hijack that conversation and narrative. But it's like any civil rights battle. You were too pro-black, so you had a black president, so now we have Donald Trump as the white lash. You're too pro-gay, so now we have to do anti-gay. It's still not good, right? It's still their fault for being anti-freedom, but I get your point. Oh boy, another super chat? Did I miss one? Alright, but thank you for the support, guys. Thank you for all the donations. Thank you for the watching. 130 likes on the stream. Really appreciate that. That's really cool. Please go follow my TikTok, Jola Politics on TikTok. I have some good videos up about the ICE situation in Chicago. Please go drop a like on those videos. Boost that. I've been pushing pretty hard on TikTok recently. Yeah, I really appreciate you guys watching. We had some good callers tonight. It started off bad, right? It began bad, but we got there. We did get there. And 30,000 subscribers. I don't know if there's any award I get. Not yet. Only 100,000 you get. And the only reason I do YouTube is because I want a YouTube plaque. Okay, the only reason I do it is for a YouTube plaque. Is so I can get 100,000. Only reason I'm trying to get to 100,000. Then I'll be happy. I don't care about anything else in life. It's just that one YouTube plaque. That being said, before I leave, on my channel and under my video descriptions, you can join my Discord. Please join my Discord, guys. Oh, wait, that's not my Discord. That's Discord in general. One second. Oopsies. Here. All right, guys, I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna go to bed, Bed Bath and Beyond. I'm gonna go to Bed Bath and Beyond. I'm gonna go to Bed Bath and Beyond. I want a podcast with conservatives as well, with planned conversations. That'd be really nice. Thank you, guys. Thank you, mods. Thank you, channel members. Thank you, donators. Let me check my Venmo and Cash App if there's anyone else that donated. Elle said every caller tonight seemed like they are deeply lonely. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the loneliness epidemic that no one does anything about is really nice. I love it. I love how we don't do anything about anything to solve anything. But all right, guys, join Discord. I'm going to head off for tonight, although we have 171 viewers. But I'll be back on tomorrow, most likely.
Aggressively hit it.
Yeah. And also, Biden did fight back against those laws that were anti-trans. And like Andy Beshear in Kentucky, a Democrat, vetoed anti-trans legislation in a really red state, and he won. He really advocated for trans people as a main policy platform, as a point he stood on very strongly and confidently. A Democrat in Kentucky protecting trans people. He's the only reason trans people in Kentucky can feel any type of freedom whatsoever and rights whatsoever. But Hassan would never give someone like Andy Beshear credit whatsoever. He'd call him a corporate sellout, which maybe he is. I don't know. But he's going to protect trans people. And that's what matters in politics, is putting people in power in different positions who have good outcomes as a result of them being in power. That is literally politics, all right? I don't care if you do it for the right reasons, wrong reasons. I do care about doing it for the right reasons so you're not corrupt and change your mind and change positions like Kristen Sinema, whatever her name is, and John Fetterman, and a bunch of other people who switch sides. But yeah, you got to be honest at least. All right, that's enough for me, guys. That's a good ending point. Oh. Oh my god. Is anybody gonna join Discord with this? Nobody's joining Discord. What if I want people to talk to in Discord? Why is no one joining Discord for me? Please join Discord, guys. Join my Discord. Please. Pretty please. Please join my Discord. Yeah, Brian. How do I join Discord? Make a Discord. It's in my video descriptions. No one became a new Patreon member. Join Patreon, Jola. Patreon/Jola to help me out to do independent media. Yippee. I wish I can go longer. I made it to 2 hours, guys. Okay, I'm gonna go to bed now. I made it to 2 hours again. I did 2 hours again, guys. I did 2 hours. Hell yeah. All right, have a good night, guys. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow, 10 p.m. 10 p.m. tomorrow, guys. Have a good night. Good night, guys. 10 p.m. tomorrow. Good night.